And hey, everybody. Happy Sunday evening. Thanks for being here. And I had a couple of problems logging into the webinar software. And I'm thinking if I had a few problems, it's possible a few others did. So if you're here tonight on Sunday, July 2nd, I just want to welcome you here and say thank you for joining me. And if you're on the way in and struggling to get here and maybe even watching the recording, I'm so happy that you're here. And thanks for giving us an extra minute or two to get everything ready. So thank you so much for being here, my friends, and happy Sunday evening and happy July. I hope that June was a spectacular trading month for you. I know for me, it was a really big learning experience. It was one of my better months that I've had, but it came after a lot of work. And tonight I want to share some of those lessons with you and maybe look at a few charts and maybe share some ideas for how we can all together improve and do better as traders. So I want to kick things off tonight. It's really important for me to get to know you. I want to bring you as much information as I can that's going to be helpful. So give me a moment here. I'm going to look over the list of everybody that's here. I see a few familiar names inside the chat. It's great to have you here with us. Let's see here. Scott's here. Hey, Scott, what's going on, man? Ines, Ismail, Ricardo, Freddie, Catherine, Mark, Robert, Lauren, Timothy, Curtis, Jackie, Cheryl, Joseph, Jaime, Tom, and many others. It's good to be with you. Happy evening to all of you. I'm going to switch up how the screen is shown so you can see a full screen view of the charts. And I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why we are here. And I'm going to kind of just be 100% super absolutely 1000% upfront with you, and I'll I'll make sure I let you know exactly what that means here in just a second. So happy to be with you. Happy Sunday evening. Happy July. And here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you. We're going to look at a lot of charts tonight. We got a really cool agenda coming up here. I want to make sure that we get to a lot of things. I know you're busy, and I know this is kind of a holiday weekend, and for some of you, you're brand new to trading, and for some of you, you've been doing this for a while. No matter what, whether you're brand new, whether this is all just a review for you, and you've been doing this for a long time, I want to make sure that I leave you better than I found you, and I want to make sure I explicitly and clearly communicate what the goal is here tonight. My name is Rob Booker. I'll introduce myself to you a little bit more, but I'm not the most important person here on the webinar tonight. This is a very special July 4th weekend edition of the Tim Sykes Challenge informational webinar. And exactly what is that, you might ask? Well, the Tim Sykes Challenge is, as many of you already know, a complete trading educational course and a live trading program that helps you have more success in your trading. The Tim Sykes Challenge, as many of you know, has produced 30+ millionaire students and hundreds of others who have made thousands of dollars in profits, whether they started as a beginner, a retiree, a single parent, or anything else. Now, that's all introduction stuff. Many of you are wondering right now, okay, I showed up for this webinar. What am I going to learn here, and what's the point of being here? And then you're asking, what is it that this guy is trying to sell me? Okay. Fair enough. I know what it's like to come to these webinars and get hit with a big sales pitch. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do none of that. I'm just going to pack this webinar full of information. The point of me sharing that information is to build some trust with you. And I'm going to be 100% clear, explicit, and as honest as I can possibly be, which is hopefully 100%, right? The Tim Sykes Challenge teaches you a complete and simple trading method, and then you trade it live together with other challenge students in a live webinar every day so that you hopefully improve and learn while making money. Now, tonight, I'm going to tell you straight up, all throughout the webinar tonight, I'm going to offer you a chance for you and I to do a free call to strategize about your trading future and introduce you to our program for teaching traders. And there's a link in the chat box, and it's there right now, and it's robbiebooker.com/challenge. There it is. It's a free call to strategize about your trading future. That's it. Tonight, it doesn't matter to me if you buy anything or don't buy anything, if you become a student or don't become a student. You've entrusted me with about 35 to 40 minutes of your time, and I don't want to waste it doing sales pitches or marketing crap. I want to get right down to it. There is a major problem in the world of trading right now, and it's that most traders are unsuccessful, and it's very easy to figure out why. Tonight, we're going to look at some charts. Tonight, I'm going to teach you a trading strategy. Tonight, we're going to look at some long-term views of stocks that everyone loves. We're going to look at Tesla. We're going to look at Apple, which is now a $3 trillion company. We're going to look at the danger zones for the NASDAQ. And are we facing a market crash when everybody thinks that everything is perfectly fine? And what can you do about it? What if you're brand new to the world of trading and you don't even know where to start? I want to help you get there. So tonight, explicitly, upfront from the very beginning, at the conclusion of this webinar, I would like you to have scheduled a free strategy session appointment to talk to me or a member of the team about your trading future, to make a blueprint, to make a plan. That's it. Here we go. Are you excited? Most traders do this. And by the way, as mentioned, most traders are unsuccessful. Most traders look at a large number or even infinite number of stocks. They get those stocks from television, from Twitter, all over the place. And then they try to guess which stock is going to move, and they are inevitably disappointed when they pick the wrong stock or they pick the right one at the wrong time. Have you ever gotten so focused on a stock or heard a tip from someone or watched a television show and taken a trade, or gotten a trade alert from a trader that you thought you respected, and then it doesn't turn out or go the way that you might have hoped? You're not alone. You're part of the mass of traders out there struggling to succeed, who have just one small thing that you can change to become more successful. So if you're just getting here now, my name is Rob Booker. I'm going to introduce myself to all of you a little bit more in just a moment. And then we're going to get to the educational portion of the presentation. Here's what millionaire traders do. Millionaire traders look at a small number of stocks that already moved, that they can have complete confidence in, and then they trade that stock on the second, third, fourth, or fifth move up. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. But I'm going to kind of give it to you again in a different phrase. Millionaire traders aren't betting that something might happen. They're doing the best possible job they can at getting on a sure thing. If that seems like too much to even believe, it's not. Millionaire traders aren't trying to predict what's going to happen next. Millionaire traders don't go, hey, what do you think is going to happen with Tesla? Millionaire traders don't even answer that question. Millionaire traders don't wake up in the morning focused on Tesla or Apple or anything, really. They're focused on making money. Most traders are focused on a stock, a name, a favorite, like NVIDIA. And listen, there's some of you here tonight, I won't be able to convince you otherwise. And you'll still be asking what NVIDIA is going to do next at the end of the webinar. But if you want to be a millionaire, you don't look at the stock. You look at the pattern. Tonight, I'm going to teach you what that pattern is. I'm not joking around either. I'm not sort of like going to teach you some of it, and then only if you pay money, you can get the rest of it. I'm going to teach you the whole damn thing. All I ask of you tonight is that you stay for the whole session for another 30 minutes. And all I ask of you tonight is, if you like what you hear and you like the way we're doing the education here, that you schedule a time to speak to me or a member of the team to strategize about your trading future and to build a plan. This weekend in the United States is about freedom. This webinar is a small tribute, not even close to the service that our service members provide, but it's a tribute to that word, freedom. Because if you want to trade, you're not doing it because you love putting the pieces of the puzzle together. You're not doing it because you've got nothing better to do with your time. You're trading because you want some freedom. You're trading because you want to be financially free. I can't promise that result. Someone trying to sell you something is definitely going to try to promise you that result. What I can promise you is a different form of free. A chance to freely, without any expense, strategize about your trading future, talk about a blueprint, talk about what the obstacles are, and maybe overcome them. Tonight, I want to excitedly share with you my journey. I'm going to do my best to get to your questions as we go. and I want to introduce myself to you. So here we go. I'm going to start the slide presentation. I'm going to do a very brief introduction of who I am and what my background is and what my qualifications are for this webinar. But then we're going to go straight to the charts. And I'm telling you what, we're going to look at the big names, but we're going to focus on a pattern. And I promise you, 100% guarantee you, if you focus on what I teach you tonight, you will have the tools necessary to start making money tomorrow. And if you can start making money from what I've taught you, you're going to be very excited about that phone call, because that phone call is going to be the gateway into us working together every day. My name is Rob Booker. I'm the host of the Tim Sykes Millionaire Challenge podcast. Among other things, I manage my own money. I write some books every once in a while. I'm working on a brand new book about trading. I haven't written one since 2007. And I'm here tonight to share some lessons, habits, routines, strategies, tips, and tricks. I'm happy you're here. Happy Sunday evening. We're live on Sunday, July 2nd. It's 7:11 p.m. And if you're watching a replay of this webinar, everything you're about to watch is going to be absolutely usable forever. You could be watching this a year from now. It's still going to be valid. I'm here on behalf of Tim Sykes. Tim is once again traveling around the world doing charity work, and he donates 100% of all of his trading profits to charity. He turned $12,000 into over $7 million, and he didn't stop there. He taught other people how to do it. You've heard the story, right? Traded penny stocks while he was in college, and now he's been creating millionaire trading students. And if you're ready to learn his strategies, I'm going to introduce some ideas to you tonight that you can put into work tomorrow. In fact, I'm going to introduce you tonight everything that I do in the mornings, every single thing I do to take a trade. Tim Sykes has already created 30 plus millionaire traders, men and women from around the globe who wanted a better life for themselves and their families and were willing to work to get it, including Tim Grittani. The rumor is, well, we know what he started with. He started with $1,500, and he's now at over $18 million in profits. Some people on the inside say it's closer to 21. He's kind of stopped publicly sharing exactly what the number is. I would probably do the same if I'd gotten up to that number like he did so fast. But he's joined by traders who started with the same amount of money and who are at $1 million or $2 million or $3 million in profits. Why not you? None of the people that I'm going to profile tonight are any different than you. Hardworking, willing to do what it takes, willing to learn new things and keep it simple. They're not mathematical experts. They didn't go to Harvard Business School. They didn't work on Wall Street in an internship. They took the Tim Sykes Challenge. They learned the material. They traded live with Tim Sykes and the other mentors, and they've had success. So I'm going to do my best to get to your questions as we go, but I want to use this time to teach you. Now, I started trading in the year 2000. I lost my first account. I was out of money. This story is boring because it's not your story. But I got to tell you my story in order to make sure you understand where I'm coming from. So I'm going to blow through this quickly. I met my mentor 23 years ago. I borrowed $10,000 to pay this man to teach me how to trade. He was a hedge fund manager managing tens of millions of dollars, some of which he managed for a friend of mine. I went on to be featured in the book Millionaire Traders. It's kind of a stock market wizards kind of book. I was super honored to be a part of that book back in the mid-2000s after my first run of success. I wrote a set of my own books in English and actually Japanese. Also, I started a podcast and a radio show for traders, and eventually I was on across the United States of America for an hour before Dave Ramsey on AM Business Talk Radio. And I sold the radio show, the YouTube channel, the rights to the books and everything else, and now I just manage my own money. I was a money manager for about 7 years. I was a commodities trading advisor, and I managed about $8 million at the peak. I did not enjoy managing money, but I'm just trying to give you a look into sort of what my background is and where I come from. And you might be wondering, well, why would you be here then? So I've been a trader for 23 years, and that's a fair question. I met Tim Sykes 16 years ago, hosted a podcast, sold my podcast and radio show and YouTube channel, and retired. And I just trade. And 2 months ago, Tim Sykes called me while he was in Brazil, and he said, hey, what would you think about helping me out in the Tim Sykes Challenge as a live trading expert? And I said, absolutely, positively, yes, I'd be happy to do that. And so I started doing that. And so tonight, I'm going to explain a trading strategy to you starting right now. And then during the webinar, I'll take a break every once in a while to take questions. And we'll also take about a minute break 3 or 4 times for you to click that link that's in the chat box and schedule a time to strategize and build a plan for your trading future. That's all I ask. You don't have to buy anything tonight. You don't have to, there's no link at the end of this webinar to a shopping cart or $1 million trading program or whatever, there's just a link that's already there for a free call. And you're going to love that call. All right, let's get into it. Let's talk about what we're doing here. So blank slate, you can ask me anything tonight. So, and I hope that you do. I hope that you'll ask me questions as we go about what I talk about and what we focus on and where we go with this. So right now, Tesla and Apple are big names. Tesla's probably about to break through and just go on a big run. That's what most people are thinking right now. And Tesla's charts are kind of showing something to that effect. And so it gets a lot of attention. But there's something else happening on the Tesla chart right now, and you need to know what it is. And it's at the bottom of the screen, and most people who are just captivated by this bull market, they aren't focusing on it. And I'm not a negative, pessimistic person. I'm optimistic. But I'm going to give you right away a little bit of a warning. Recently, Tesla posted its largest volume day in months, and it was a bearish volume day. There's a case to be made that Tesla might correct itself. I want you to be on the lookout for that. I'm going to take this all a step further, but I want to kick this thing off with stocks that everybody talks about and everybody's interested in. Look at what NVIDIA did not so long ago. It printed its highest volume candle of the day. The highest volume that it printed was exceptionally bearish. NVIDIA's had a great run. They're a big name in artificial intelligence, but I want you to be aware that what the people on TV aren't going to tell you, because the companies pay for the commercial time, is there are some warning signs out there right now. Be aware of that. A little bit of a correction is in store, a little bit of one. You can make money going both ways. Now let's look at Apple. Apple, $3 trillion company, posted its largest volume of the day back at the beginning of last month, and it was bearish. And then it went on a run. This is how people and traders get tricked. They just sort of like, you don't see what's really going on because most people focus on the positive, which is great. But I want to open your eyes to a different point of view here as we start the month. There will be a pullback. Very likely. Very, very likely will be a pullback. Probably this week and maybe into next. And then there's going to be some of the greatest buying opportunities that we've seen. Now I'm going to teach you a strategy for taking advantage of those buying opportunities. I'm going to teach you a strategy for identifying the biggest stocks that are set to move the most. Because NVIDIA, Apple, Tesla, buzzer, they're not going to move the most. They're exciting to look at. And you can tell all your friends at cocktail parties and July 4th picnics, listen, I think Apple and Tesla and NVIDIA might pull back a little bit and they might provide us all a big buying opportunity. Great. Good. Okay. But those aren't the biggest stocks. They're not the best opportunities. In fact, every single day out there, there are stocks that present a massive, massive, and exceptional buying opportunity on short-term charts, and I'm going to teach you the strategy to do it. I'm not going to leave anything out, and I'm going to dive right in. BXRX, hardly anybody has ever heard about this company. I don't know what they do. Bodix Bio, they're probably working on a drug to help sick people, right? Most of these companies that are doing that, however, are unprofitable. But sometimes they get a press release out. They've made a discovery. They filed a patent. They have a joint venture marketing agreement for one of their drugs, or one of their drugs at best gets through an FDA approval process and the stock shoots up. And it does it in the early hours of the trading session. These, my friends, are opportunities to identify the biggest stocks of the day, and they're not Apple, and it's not Tesla, and it's never going to be NVIDIA. Those are fun to look at, and it's great for cocktail parties and 4th of July picnics. But when it comes to actually making a living from trading, I want you to do one very simple thing followed by another very simple and ordinary thing. Number one, you're going to identify top stock of the day. I'll show you how to do that. And then number two, you're going to trade it the right way. I'm going to show you how to do that too. Every single morning before the market opens, there is something called the pre-market trading session. And in the pre-market trading session, stocks begin to move. The pre-market trading session begins at 4 a.m. Eastern time and ends at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time when the market opens officially. The pre-market session is where the stock market shows its cards. It's like watching ESPN poker, which they used to do in the old days, right? They used to show you as a viewer of the show what cards were really there. And so you could cheer for or be frightened for the players around the table that couldn't see the cards. Most traders don't know that they can look at the pre-market session on any charting program. Your broker can show it, Stocks to Trade can show it, and this charting program you're looking at right now is tradingview.com. They can show it too. It's this sandy color shaded area right here on the chart. 4 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And what a stock or two or three or four will do every morning is print a huge amount of volume, millions of shares of volume before the stock market even officially opens. And because it's moving like that, the stock will show up on a top gainers watch list. Remember I told you how we're going to identify a stock? Top gainers. If you have access to Stocks to Trade, it's a simple scan with one click. If you have access to Webull, you can look at the top gainers. You can also go to a website like Market Chameleon. Write this down. Just write it down. Take a minute. Market Chameleon will show you every day. So let's see here. MarketChameleon.com will show you every day the major stocks moving in the pre-market session. On Friday, it was Top, CBAY, BHG, AUPH, ACCD, and on down the list. You can sort this by volume traded. You can also sort it by the percentage change that the stock made. Pretty wild. BXRX, CYT, Top, RNLX all made the list. You don't have to go anywhere special or do anything fancy. You know, extraordinary traders who make millions of dollars, they're just doing ordinary things over and over and over again. Do you know how to find the top stock? I'll show it to you again. To find the top stock, go to something like Market Chameleon or Stocks to Trade or whatever. Look at the pre-market movers. Is that helping you? You can give me a yes in the chat box if it's helping you out. And for those of our friends who just got here, God bless you all. Happy holiday weekend. The market's open tomorrow until 1 p.m. Eastern time, and there's going to be movers, and this is going to work. It works every day. I'm not supposed to make any guarantees on a webinar like this, but I don't have anything for sale. Okay? I guarantee you that this works. I guarantee you that I use it, and I trade it together with 2,100 other people every day. Now, 2,100 people are invited every day. We have, 300, 400 that show up for each individual session. Probably during the week, I'll probably catch 1,000 of the members inside of the live webinars in the mornings. So you find the top stock. There it is. You found it. You're looking for top volume and top gainer. That's what you're looking for. Looking for lots of millions of shares of volume in the pre-market session. And you're looking at stocks that are gaining so much in the pre-market session that they appear on the top of a list like this. Now, what is this list again? What am I talking about? I went to a website and we just looked at the stocks that were moving the most in the pre-market session. So on Friday, it was RNLX, TOP, CYT, and BXRX, CTMX. You can go on down the list. We're looking for stocks in the pre-market session that are trading millions of shares of volume and have high percent changes. There you go. That's part one. That's all you got to do for part one. That's it. Part one is done. Most people, listen, I'm going to use a first name, not a last name. Mike P. Okay, Mike Patel. I'll just give you his name. He joined the Tim Sykes Challenge 3 weeks ago, three and a half weeks ago. And he was spending up to 2 hours every evening after the kids were in bed, looking at watch lists and doing some research and grabbing some names off of Twitter and other places. and getting a list of stocks that he was going to watch. That's what he was doing every night. I just taught you how to do it in 3 minutes. Same thing. You don't have to go to bed tonight hoping to get a watch list from a famous trader. You can wake up tomorrow morning and you can look at that website and you will get the top stocks. Okay? I hope that's helpful. I'm here to build trust with you, right? If I was here to only sell you something, I wouldn't tell you that. I would tell you, well, I'm gonna tell you how to do it, but you gotta pay some money. No. I want you to be successful. I want you to make money. I want you to come back and say, hey, where's Rob? Oh, he's trading with the members of the Tim Sykes Challenge. And I want you to say, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to trade with him every day. Because you know what? Trading together every day with our group is amazing. It's a lot of fun. Now we're going to move on to step 2. None of us have all evening, so I'm going to make this about 10 minutes quick, okay? Step 2, trade the stock the right way. Might think it's complicated, but it's not. For as long as you want to make trading complicated, it will be. For as long as you want to make trading difficult, it will be. And I'm sorry if this is offensive, and I'm not meaning it to be. Dial it down and make trading the easiest thing you've ever done. And I'm not supposed to say trading is easy, because it's not. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? Okay, but the steps to take to trade successfully are not difficult. Trading successfully is not difficult because the system is weird or complicated. Trading is difficult because traders have trouble hanging on to the money they make. Trading is difficult because traders don't trust their own judgment. When I was the chief market strategist and TV guy at a broker, I did an analysis on all of the trades taken by every trader every day. I had access to the entire system. And what we found was traders made the right decisions about the stock's direction, but they traded so big they couldn't stay in the trade long enough for it to be profitable. Has that ever happened to you? Let's talk about trading a stock the right way. Once you see that BXRX, for example, was the number 1 stock of the day in the pre-market session, we drew a line across that level. Everything I'm going to do here sounds so simple, you're just going to want it to be more complicated. If you want to make money, keep listening. You want to make it complicated? I don't know, go watch business television. We draw a line across the pre-market high. That came at 81 cents. There you go. 81 cents. That's it. And I'm going to teach you a system. You buy it when the stock breaks above that level. Period. That's it. I'm going to teach you the stop loss and the profit targets, but I want you to get the entry down cold. If it never breaks that level, you never trade it. If it does break that level, then you trade it. And you don't make any excuses. You don't change your mind about it. You don't worry about it. You just do it. You can even set an order to have that trade taken automatically, or as I like to say, auto-magically. Now, some of you are already making it more complicated, and I love you. Nothing that I'm saying here should be offensive, so I just showed you how to do it. And they say, well, how's this different than whatever? And how's this different than this one other scanning tool I have? Let me go back to what you go to the website, you get the list of top gainers. That's it. Step 1. This is a free website, by the way. This is free. It's not going to cost you anything. So I love you, and don't ask me about other websites or other things, because you don't need them. You might need them for other things, but you don't need it for this. Deep breath, and now I just made everything so simple for 99% of you, and there's always a 1% that's like, no, I'm going to keep doing it the confusing, difficult way. I'm going to wait for an email to come in from a famous trader. I'm going to wait to see what so-and-so's trading. I'm going to wait to see what the alert is. Screw all that. Seriously, just forget about all that stuff. Forget it. You know how many emails I get about stock alerts now? 0. 0. You just make your own. Step 1, check the website, get the top gainers. Step 2, go to the charts, draw a line across the pre-market high. And when it breaks that pre-market high, you're buying it. That's it. No if, and, or, buts. how-to wherewithals, heretofores, instead ofs, no excuses. No excuses. Let's get another stock off the top list from Friday. Top. Well, Top wanted to pop, didn't it? Top really wanted to pop on Friday. All right, well, let's take a look at that. In the pre-market session on Friday, Top made a pre-market high at $11.07. Done. That was the pre-market high. That's all I need to do. We're gonna go back to each one of these charts in just a moment. RNLX, top stock in the pre-market session on Friday. The pre-market high was this level. The sand color area is our focus. Was $3.65. Done. Drew the line. We drew the line. That's it. And then CYT. What CYT did in the pre-market session. CYT. Done. I dropped that level right on there. So let's start with CYT and work our way back. CYT then never, not at all, not once, not ever after that during the day, at least unless I'm mistaken, it never again moved higher than that level. It never broke out. Guess what? We never bought it. Meaningless to us. It dropped off the list and we didn't care about it. Let's go to another one. RNLX. Knowing what you don't trade is equally important as to what you do trade. RNLX made a pre-market high at about $3.65. It never once jumped above that level again. AAOI made the list on Friday. Look at this. Now, this is a different story. AAOI in the pre-market session didn't really do anything. And then it appeared out of nowhere and started jumping. And it jumped to $6.44. It was a buy trade when it moved above that breakout level. But let's move on to the trade that we actually took, BXRX, and then we'll look at Top also. I'm going to show you stop losses. I'm going to show you profit targets and so much more. BXRX made a breakout at 82 cents. Immediately, we bought it. I actually did buy this one. I actually took this trade. I don't buy very many stocks. I'm very focused on kind of I call it the one stock system. Remember what Bruce Lee said, right? I don't fear the man who practiced 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who ate 10,000 donuts. No, he didn't say that. He said, I don't fear the man who practiced 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times. So I'm just looking for one trade. That's all I'm looking for. Single stock system. The Rob Booker single stock system inside of the Tim Sykes challenge. So BXRX moved above the pre-market high, 82 cents. Immediate buy trade. I'm not waiting for anything to close. I'm not waiting for anything to finish. I'm not waiting for it. It might be speaking mid-sentence and we interrupt it. This is a 5-minute chart. You could use the 1-minute chart. It's not going to matter. It made a pre-market high on any time frame chart at 81 cents. We bought it at 82 cents. The most important consideration when trading is risk. Place the stop loss underneath the candle that broke out. It's right there. That's the squiggly line. This is the nicest arrow you've ever seen. I don't want to hear anybody else say anything else about it. And now we need some profit targets. I am now going to show you a somewhat kind of complicated way to find profit targets that will take you about 1 second. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to grab what is referred to as the fib retracement tool from my charts. I'm going to click it. I'm going to start a line here and drop the line down here. And I'm going to do this 4 times. I just did it once. Probably didn't make sense. I'm going to grab the Fibonacci retracement tool. I'm going to click at the pre-market high, move my mouse down to the pre-market low, and let go of the button. This then creates levels above price. It creates these levels. And I refer to these as my profit target levels. Does it hit them? Yeah, you bet your sweet little buns it hits them. Absolutely 100%. It will 90+% of the time hit profit target number 1. 88 cents hit. That means we can move our stop loss up a little bit, and then it hits the next one. We can move our stop loss up a little bit more. How much, you ask? Hold on, cowboy. Moves up a little bit more, we move our stop. Up a little bit more, we move our stop, and maybe we get stopped out. Where does it stop? It stops at one of those levels. So what the hell just happened? What was that? When you start doing this, I guarantee you, if it's the only thing you do, I guarantee you every single day, you will find 1 to 2 of these that will be successful. Many, many other of those stocks that make those lists do not appear at all to break out above the pre-market highs, and you don't have to worry about it. Okay? Let's do this again from the start. I went to Market Chameleon and I saw BXRX was like number 4 on the list. So I'm just going to look through all these top stocks, but I'm going to concentrate on the top 4. I jump on over to the charts and I say, okay, well, during the pre-market session, the highest high that it went was about 81 cents. I'm going to draw a line across that level, stop the line, and I'm going to buy that if it breaks out above that level. I can set some alerts. I can even set a order in my charting platform, but I'm going to need to know where my stop loss is. My stop loss is going to go underneath the candle that broke out. So I know exactly where I'm going to stop out, what my risk is going to be. Then I take my fib retracement tool and I draw it from the top here down to the bottom here. And you're like, what is a fib retracement tool? Great question. Fib retracement definition charts. Look it up. Fibonacci retracements are trend lines drawn between 2 significant points, usually between absolute and absolute highs, plotted on a chart. And it gives us levels. It could be magic. It could be made by a tribe of magic squirrels or rocks that live in the forest. We don't know. Actually, the guy that made it famous was a guy named Leonardo da Pisa in Pisa, Italy. He's the guy that popularized this way back, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Who cares about that guy though? It just made its way to the charts, and now we use them for profit targets. Now, if you want to work with me on a daily basis, we can draw these. We can do tons of instruction. I got tons of lessons on this for you. But you can grab the Fibonacci retracement and you can play around with it and start working on it. Let's look at AAOI, and then we're going to look at top. Now, I didn't hear about AAOI until later on in the morning. So I heard about AAOI when a trader friend of mine released a trade alert for it because it jumped up after the market opened. So what happens if you hear about a stock after the market opens? What if you hear about it later in the day? What if somebody says, hey, did you look at AAOI? You walk over to the chart and you draw a line across the highest high that stock went that day. And you automatically know it's a buy trade if it breaks out above that level. And sure enough, it did. Well, where do you take profit? Well, we don't look at that one first. We first look at where we stop out. We stop out underneath the bar or candle that broke out. So we set our stop loss. Then what we do is we grab our fib retracement tool. We draw it from the high that it had made to the low that it made soon afterwards. And then we put our profit target at the first level. So it goes from $5.48 to $5.55. And then it doesn't stop out, and it continues to $5.64 and $5.74. And then it gets up almost all the way to $5.85. And then it just craters, which is why we move our stops, and which is why the first 3 profit targets, once, twice, and I'm going to sing 3 times a lady right here for all of you people who were alive in the 1970s. Those profit targets are highly, highly probable. Let's go to top. Top did something wild. Top made a pre-market high at 1106, and it jumped above there, and it failed immediately. Ugh. Hate stopping out, but sometimes you do. Some of the traders in our family stopped out of that trade. They lost. It jumped up, and it fell down. Right? Anybody who tells you they never lose, right? You just back out of the room with your hand on the back of your back pocket, protecting your wallet, or put your hand over your purse. Okay? Anybody who tells you they never lose. Top was able to, by the way, jump up above the pre-market highs, and it was able to hit 2 profit targets. It went from 1107 to 1161. Traders in our family of traders were definitely able to make some money. Absolutely. You get in, you get out. It looks like a failed breakout, but what it really was just a small, delicious profit opportunity. And that's how we do things. That's what we do. Samuel says pre-market high of 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, or 8 o'clock, because some stocks pop again at 7 and do not show up on FinViz until 8 o'clock. Dear Samuel, I love you. I didn't say one thing about FinViz. So that's where we just misunderstood each other. Like I said before, I don't care what FinViz shows. I love you. None of this is meant to be critical of you, but I don't care what FinViz says. That wouldn't be my concern. We weren't even looking at that. There's a reason I didn't mention it. Now, if you do pay for the VIP elite level of FinViz, Samuel, it's $24 a month, and you will get access to that information earlier in the session. I'm not sure you want to do that, though. So how would I trade? Peter's got a great question. Hi, Peter. What's up, my brother? You got the greatest email address in the world. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Passamaquoddy, Passamaquoddy. Okay. So what would I do with Top next week? So Top automatically, because it was such a big deal on Friday, it's gonna be a big deal, and people are gonna talk about it on their Sunday night watch lists. And if you're unlucky enough to subscribe to that kind of stuff, just kidding, you're gonna get it. Somebody's gonna put it on their Sunday evening watch list, and good for them. I could not possibly care less about Top. I couldn't care less about it. And Peter, what a relief, right? Tonight, after we're done with this webinar, don't you dare look at any watch lists or read any news, or don't you dare do extra work you don't need to do. Instead, Peter, practice drawing with your fib retracement tool to get ready. And then tomorrow morning, if Top doesn't show up on our pre-market active list, screw it. You didn't waste any time thinking about it tonight. And if it does show up on the list, great. Yes, great. VBIV was a big mover on Friday. It's going to make a bunch of weekend watch lists. It's going to be on a bunch of people's weekend watch lists. Guess what? I couldn't care less about it. Why? Because it's not tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, VBIV may be forgotten. VBIV, for all we know, tomorrow morning will drop $2 and go to zero eventually. We don't know. And because we don't know, we don't do anything about it. And we don't even worry about it. We don't even take up our brain waves with it. We just take a deep breath and we go, we don't know what's going to happen with this tomorrow. I'm going to wait till something pops up on my top stock watch list tomorrow morning. Do you know what happens more than half the time to a stock like VBI tomorrow morning? It crashes all the way down to $2.30. Just as often. And meanwhile, tonight, there's people rubbing their hands together like Mr. Burns on The Simpsons. Can't wait to make a bunch of money buying VBIV tomorrow morning. They wake up in the morning, they haven't looked at anything, and they just buy the stock in the morning. And they get crushed. Don't do that. Just wait tomorrow morning and see what pops up. I know it's kind of, you don't really know me that well, and I know we've never met, and I know we haven't started working together yet. But I care deeply about your success. I'm in the trenches with you every day. I run a live account. Usually we look at it. It's $28,550. I've been doing about $200, $300 a day lately. I reduced my trade size recently, and I'm going to pop it back up a little bit more. So I was in May. We can look at my trading. We can actually look at my trading logs. I don't know. I always feel like I should show you my trading stuff because I feel like if I don't, you're gonna wonder if I really do any of this stuff. So these are all the trades that I've taken in March, April, and May. So in March, I was up $3,700. April, I was up $9,010.02. May, I was up $8,991, and I haven't tabulated June yet. I don't know why I'm so afraid of doing that. I guess that I reduced my trade size in June, so I was afraid that I was going to maybe not show you some spectacular result, but who really cares, right? So it didn't add it up properly. I probably have a missing data point in there. We'll do it again in just a second. I document every single trade I take. $3,668. Yeah, okay. I had a feeling it was a slower month. Okay, cool. So that's what I do. It's been really great to spend some time together with you. And here's what I've got for you. I would like to trade a simple method on the strongest stocks every day with you on our team. I'd like to give you feedback every time you take a trade, and I'd like to help you improve every single day. The Tim Sykes Challenge is a complete course and live trading program that helps you have more success in your trading. It's produced over 30 millionaire traders and hundreds of traders who've made thousands of dollars each by following the system. And the way that we do things inside the Tim Sykes Challenge is to teach you a simple trading method, and then we trade it live with you in a webinar every day so that you improve and learn while potentially making money. And it works for me, and I believe it can work for you too. Tim Sykes and I recently joined forces to teach together. So that's what we're doing. That's why I'm here tonight. Here's my offer. By clicking the link in the chat box now, you can schedule a free strategy session with me or a member of the team. What we'll do is we'll work on a blueprint for your trading. We'll talk about what are the obstacles in your way, what are your goals, how can we help you get there? And maybe you're a fit for working together with us. And if you get the chance to work together with us, we're going to change your life for the better. You're going to have the opportunity to make more money than you've ever made before. And you'll have some work to do, but it's going to be fun. The call is awesome. It's finally a chance to talk to you about your trading future. And I can't wait to do that with you. So if you're watching on YouTube, go to robbiebooker.com/challenge. And I'm going to take a short break here, grab a drink of water, come back, answer some questions. And would you let me know if you click that link in the chat box? Tim's going to ask me if anybody did. You know he's going to ask me. So if you had a good time tonight, let me know you did that. I appreciate it. It means the world to me. And I'll be right back to answer some questions. All right, a couple of great questions in here. Peter says, if a stock pops up, would you buy on the new high of the day? Yes. Yeah, and I wouldn't even take into account the previous day. Absolutely. Brian says, that says it's short selling. Brian, yeah, it does. So on that document, Brian, on the left side, the short selling, and on the right side were my buy trades. So the buy trades were actually extra money. We were just tabulating my short selling trades. My buy trades were actually on the other side. And we can look at that also. I'm happy to look at that with you also. So no problem there. We can look at that. But I love short selling, Brian. There's no way to be coy about it. I love short selling. The biggest millionaires inside the Tim Sykes Challenge, Tim Grattani and Jack Kellogg, who combined for over $30 million in profits, they're short sellers. Everybody buys and sells stocks. I mean, people do a little bit of both. But so yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to answer that question. Eddie had a good time. Gary had a good time. That's great. I'm glad I could help you out, everybody. All right. We've said it all. We've had a great time. I gave you a chance to click that link in the chat box. It means a lot to me that you did. Thanks for scheduling a time. Now, what happens on that call is you'll have a chance to work together with Tim Sykes and I, and they'll give you all the information about doing that. But you'll also have a chance to make a blueprint for your trading plan. And if you decide to become a part of the challenge, what we're going to do is give you a VIP ticket to the upcoming Tim Sykes conference in Las Vegas, and you get a ticket to the speaker dinner. So you'll actually get to come to the dinner with all the speakers, which is super cool. And I'll be at one of those tables joking around. Usually I have dinner with Tim Sykes' dad because I think he's just amazing. I really love that guy. And you'll get to see me wearing a suit. I know that sounds crazy, but it's 100% the real deal. Okay. Have a great evening, everybody. Love you all. Michael doesn't trade on margin, doesn't do short selling. That's fine, Michael. Yeah, perfectly fine. Buying stocks is awesome. You could do that. Okay, I'll see you all later, everybody. I'll leave this link up on the screen for a few more minutes, and I'll see you on the other side.